Hello, this is Mike with TradeWinds RV Center, here to congratulate you on your 2023 Catalina Summit Series 261 BHS travel trailer. I'm going to walk you around it, show you how to use a few things to get the best out of your camping experience. Let's start by talking about arriving at the campsite and a few things to take into consideration when you're parking. On your campsite, leave plenty of room for that awning to come in and out. On your off campsite, beside your slide, I want you to think about where your power and water connections are going to be. They're both going to be behind your slide, water directly behind it, power all the way in the rear corner on your driver's side of your tow vehicle or off campsite of your trailer. So park accordingly so you can utilize the facilities at the campsite. Once you arrive and unhook our hitch, first thing we're going to do is level our unit. The unit comes with a power tongue jack. A night docking light should you arrive at night. Simply retract to lower, extend to raise. Now once you've got that level, next thing we're going to do is stabilize it. I do want you to know your power tongue jack does come with a manual override. Just hand crank on there. This will get this up and down should you lose power. Speaking of power, check your battery post every now and then. Make sure nothing's wiggled loose over time. Once we got our unit level, next thing we're going to do is stabilize it. All four corners of the unit, you've got these three scissor stabilizing jacks. Same hand crank will fit on these. You can use an impact drive or a drill gun. These are pretty low. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I will recommend stabilizing jack pads. Jack pads are going to protect the feet of your stabilizing jacks from dirt and debris, hot blacktop in the summer. It'll better distribute the weight. We're going to put these on and run these down just until they're taut. Remember, our unit's already level. All we're trying to do at this point is support it. So once you have some resistance on your hand crank, go ahead and stop. Run all four of them down. Got your unit level and stable. Next thing we'll do is hook up our power and water. 30-foot, 30-amp cord plugs in here on the back. The way these go on now is they go in at like 10 o'clock and then turn it to noon. Put your black washer on. That's going to lock that on there for you. Should you need to plug into a 110 from that 30, in your convenience pack will be a 30 to 15 amp reducer. Got your power hooked up. Let's go ahead and hook up our water. At campsites, we're going to hook up to a city water connection. First and foremost, your water pressure regulator. This water pressure regulator is going to reduce the water pressure to 40 to 50 psi, protecting the lines in your unit. Always use this when hooking up water because you don't know what the water pressure is at different campsites. So hook that up. Hook your hose up. Don't turn your hose on yet. We got one more step. Let's find your hot water heater. Yours is located just left of your entry doorway. And all we're doing at this point, folks, is making sure our drain plug's back in here. Don't want to start filling this up without this in. Get that in there. That's an 1/8" socket. Use plumber's tape, not putty. Putty will gum up on you. Get that in there nice and snug. Then you can go ahead and turn that hose on. Now after that hose has been on for a few minutes, we're going to come up inside and open up your slides. The reason I want to open your slide up, I'll tell you. Let's turn on some lights. Interior lights here. So we're going to open this slide up so we can get to our bathroom. What I want to do is get in here now that our water's hooked up and turn on our water lines, get all the air out of the lines, get a nice steady flow of water, and then shut them off. So on our control panel right here, we're just going to put out on our slide. One thing I would recommend is look down, make sure your bathroom door hasn't popped open. You don't want that to catch on your slide when you go out. These drawers seem to be far enough back, you shouldn't have to worry about that. But yeah, we'll go in the bathroom, turn on shower, turn on sink, one at a time or both, whatever. Just get the air out of the lines, get a nice steady flow of water going up in here. And then you're all set to camp. Now let's say we're going to go camping and we're not going to be hooked up to city water. We're going to go out boondocking, dry camping. In that case, we're going to fill up our freshwater tank. No need for a water pressure regulator here. Simply gravity fill this with a hose. Two ways to tell it's full. One, there's an overflow valve right there. Or two on the inside where you check the levels of your black and gray tanks. There's also a freshwater button. Keep an eye on that when you're filling it up. Do not leave this unattended while you're filling it. When you're done, put your cap back on, and then whenever you want to utilize that water, you'll turn on your water pump. Don't turn on your water pump when hooked up to the city water. That's already pressurized. All right, we're all set with power and water and ready to camp. I'm gonna go ahead and walk you back around the unit. Starting up here in front again, our power tongue jack. Your propane does come with a regulator. Simply point it toward the tank you wish to be using, lefty-loosey to open. Again, our battery, this is your battery disconnect. That would disconnect all the battery power to the unit. Our off-camp side, we got our pass-through storage. On your slides, these seals, they do have a spray that you can apply to these a couple times a year to keep them pliable, keep them from dry rotting. Add to the longevity of the life of those seals. Coming behind your slide, we've got our black tank flush. We'll talk about that when dumping our black and gray tanks. Again, our city water connection, black and gray tanks. Cable or satellite hookup for campsites. Our low point drains. Again, our power. Spare tire, I recommend getting a cover for that. Keep that from dry rotting in the sun. You're prepped for a backup camera device you can purchase from our store. One part sits on the dash of your tow vehicle. The other part attaches back here, giving you a backup camera for the unit. Coming down our campsite, this is just a big storage area. Again, our freshwater drain. That blue hose right back in there. Flue for our furnace, couple things on that. One, make sure it's never blocked. Two, if you're running your furnace, steer clear of it. It does get hot. And three, they do make bug screens. Keep to put over there. Your hot water heater. One other point on your hot water heater, if it doesn't seem to be working, come out here and look to see if either one of these pressure release valves are, if either one of these reset buttons are bubbled up. If they are, still be pressing back in. Down here is your electric element. Notice that it's set to off. The only time you ever want to turn this on here is if you're hooked up to 110. Cable and 110 for out here. This is a manual override for your slide. Your hand crank, get up in there. Again, our hitch work. And that about covers everything out here. Let's go take a look on the inside. Coming up inside the unit, first thing I always like to point out is your fire extinguisher. Make sure that you and everyone that's camping with you knows that the fire extinguisher is located by the entry doorway in case of an emergency. Again, coming up to our left, can be our control panel. Here you can see fresh black and gray tanks are all empty. Here's your battery. Here's where you can Bluetooth connect and utilize your slides and awnings from your phone. Interior, exterior lights. Here's where you can turn on your water pump. Here's where you turn on your water heater. Awning and slide controls. On your awning, you only want to run that out until you can see your silver bar and your flap has fallen down to 90 degrees. If you hold that down, as you see, that will start running itself up backwards onto itself. So keep an eye on it when you're running out. Only run it out as far as you need to. We'll run that back in. While I am, to the right of that's our slide control we utilized earlier. A couple of 110s and charging ports down here. Our exterior light. And as the awning comes in, I will tell you that slam locks work best when gently slammed. Alright, coming up into the unit, you're prepped for a TV here. But just make sure that whenever you put a TV here, plug your cable in here, make sure that green light's on. That's your antenna. Down here, sound system. See if we can get a station to come in this metal building. Presets. Optical, auxiliary, Bluetooth, ARC, back to FM. And I can get something to come in here. Let's get this going here. Really cool. Indoor and outdoor speakers are zoned A and B. There we go.
31 days. April, no diet.
It's outdoors. So these are super loud JBL system.
Smartphone. I can only call and text.
Touch it once to mute it.
Smartphone becomes a dumb phone.
Hold it in.
For the month of July. And
touch it once to mute it. Hold it to shut it off. All right, let's continue into our living room. Individual lighting here above our dinette and sofa. Sofa has a cup holder and or we'll jackknife down into a bed. In this front drawer door. I have to do one-handed here. There we go. This will fold down for access in there. It's all just magnetic. So you're folding down, this table will lift up. Metal legs remove. Put your tabletop on this wooden lip. Put a couple of flat cushions on top. You got another place to sleep. On the wall back here is our thermostat. Let's go ahead and turn the AC on. Shut that off. You'll notice that that shuts off generally rather quickly. Now if I turn your heat on, you'll notice when I shut the heat off that it's going to take a few minutes for that fan to cycle through before it actually shuts off. 110 down there. Coming in our bathroom. 110 with GFCI reset. No plumbing to maintain. There's your access panel. It's almost all PEX nowadays. Just keep an eye on it. You're bouncing a house down the road. Don't want things to wiggle loose over time. Hand crank open. Power exhaust vent. Individual lighting on our bunks. I'm too short to reach the top one. Storage underneath. Coming to our GE fridge. This is a safety strap you want to put on there for traveling so this don't bounce open on you going down the road. And our controls would be in here. Self-explanatory microwave. Express cook food, start. Show that working. Cancel. Off. You do have a light and a fan above your cooktop here. This glass top makes a nice backsplash. Just turn this to high, hit your spark, and that's how all three of those light up. This is a battery disconnect for your fridge in case you want to just shut your fridge off to thaw it out. If you want to thaw out your fridge, defrost your fridge, that's the word I'm looking for. If you want to defrost your fridge, you can just shut off the battery power to your fridge right there. Down below that, access panel to your breaker box enthusiast. There's a couple of 40s, a handful of 15s. 12 volt carbon monoxide propane detector. The reason I mentioned that's 12 volts, always running off your battery. So if you are out dry camping, use that battery disconnect up front if you're going to be gone for the day and you don't want this to run your battery down. Again, more plumbing there to maintain. There's access panel to the back of your hot water heater for your bypass for winterizing. Going back into our bunk areas, or excuse me, our bed area. Light switch here, or if you're laying in bed, you can individually shut it off. 110 charging port on both sides, and storage under your bed. Got a little lock box there, and a hand crank for your stabilizers. Prep for a TV over here. The backer is here on the wall. Make sure you don't put it anywhere but here. There's your cable 110 for that. So that about covers everything on the inside. So act like we're leaving the campsite and close the unit up. Like to start by shutting off my lights. Come to my main control panel. and shut off my interior lights. That way I can see any other lighting is all accent lighting. I can just walk through and individually shut off. Once we're dark in here, come back to my interior lighting and say doors, drawers, and vents. Go through the unit, make sure any overhead vents are closed. All doors and drawers are closed. Nothing's going to impede our slides from coming in. Just hit slide in. Again, we went through the unit. Make sure everything was shut off. I think my light over the range here. I want you to hear that noise. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just the slide mechanism letting you know I'm all the way in. So shut off my interior lights. And yes, I did have this accent on still. Exit the unit. So a couple things on these stairs. The biggest thing is make sure your exterior door is all the way open, opening or closing it. Otherwise this will catch on it. These are also adjustable by simply pushing up on this lever and then moving the leg to where you want. Set it inside, lock that in there for you. Lock and deadbolt your door after you leave the dump station. You don't want your door coming open going down the road. Alright, so if we're boondocking, dry camping, we're going to come over here and dump this fresh water. Dump that fresh water drain. Bring up our stabilizing jacks. Hook up our hitch. And head on home or to the nearest dump station, whatever we're in need of. If we are out at a campsite, we're going to unhook our power, our water, our cable. Bring up our stabilizing jacks and head on up to the dump station. And at the dump station, park accordingly. Your dump's going to be all the way at the rear on your driver's side of your tow vehicle. Got 10-foot hose comes with your convenience pack. Hook that up and pull your black handle. After it sounds like that's no longer draining, go inside, look and see if it shows empty. If it does show empty, come back out here, leave that handle open, grab the hose at the dump station and hook up to this black tank flush. Turn that hose on, let it run for a good 5 minutes. That's going to wash all that nastiness out of your black tank. When that's done, remove that hose, put that on there. Make sure all of that washout you just put in there has drained. Then close your black handle and pull your gray. While my grays are draining, go ahead and dump my low point drains. And for done camp for the season, you want to make sure you don't keep any water in your hot water heater. Get the stagnant water out of here by lifting up on your pressure release valve. Be careful, it's going to dump some hot water. When that's done, push that back down and pull your drain plug. Make sure you secure this door. Easier done with two hands sometimes. Coming back around, when that gray tank is done, close that handle, remove this hose, and conveniently and sanitarily store it right here in your bumper and head on home. Again, we thank you guys so much for your purchase. Hope you enjoy this Catalina for many years to come. Happy camping.